Hi everybody, welcome, and to my loyal supporters who stick with me regardless of what I have to say on any given day. I mean, we cannot agree on everything every day, but there are a group of people who will subscribe when I say something they like or agree with, and then unsubscribe the next day when I say something they don't like. I mean, gosh, people, give it time, stick around at least for a week or two. Or then the other alternative is to listen to me for a week or so and then subscribe or not. Anyway, I have a big 4-day market to prepare my stock for and some other family issues to deal with. So let's jump right into today's video. Okay guys, first of all, I have some news for you out of my country today. Finally, the entire issue regarding John Smythe and the Anglican Church and the abuse allegations have finally received some reaction from the Anglican Church in South Africa. The Archbishop of Cape Town, Thabo Makgoba, announced on Saturday that he has appointed a panel to investigate and review the church's handling of allegations against Smythe. And I mean, good for them. I am quite frankly sick and tired of being treated inferior because I'm South African. And I'm even more sick and tired of people being treated differently because they are black or because they are Afrikaans or because they are poor or less attractive or for whatever other reason. It was horrific that Smythe abused children in England, but when he left for Africa, it was no longer anyone's concern. And that is indeed disgusting, and I commend the Archbishop of Cape Town for his actions and decision. Okay, so with all of that said, let's talk royals. Like you, I read a lot of rubbish in the media and it's hard to tell. But I personally would guess that it's just my guess, but that it is about 60% of what we read in the media, which is utter rubbish, and only about 40% could be or is true, especially when it comes to royalty and celebrity news. But sometimes there's also some truth mingled or mixed into a piece of fiction. You just have to learn to read between the lines. Now, everybody goes through a phase at least once, or maybe 2, 3, 4, or 5 times or more in their or our lifetimes where we contemplate our own mortality. And thus, when I read this story, I believed that King Charles is indeed also thinking about and considering his own mortality, especially seen in the light of his cancer diagnosis. A while ago I also told you that a reliable source told me that the King's cancer is not curable. But that does not mean that he will pass tomorrow. He may live with the condition for another year, 2, 5, or even 10. Who knows? They can afford the best treatments, and we mere humans are not made to know when our last moments or that of anyone else will be. Anyway, that said, I'm told that the King is virtually obsessed with sorting out his family or then the House of Windsor before he passes, particularly what he perceives to be the issue with his brother Andrew. Now, mainstream media is saying the same thing, or we can assume that by reading reports whereby Charles tried to evict Andrew on the basis that he can't afford the maintenance on Royal Lodge, and when that did not work, he took away his security at the lodge, and when that did not work, he removed Andrew's income. Let's call it his pension he received for working for the institution for more than 19 years. ever since he retired from the Navy. So if one puts all of this together, all these articles, you can indeed see that there appears to be an element of obsession. It is said that Charles wants Andrew out of Royal Lodge and out of the public eye before he passes. And he is virtually prepared to do just about anything to get his wish. Okay, yes, now if I add up all the bits and pieces, it does sound plausible and probable. But I decided to go back to one of my most reliable sources and ask about it, and you will be surprised at what I was told. I was told that it is actually, for a change, mostly true. Now, as always, one thing leads to another, and the dilemma everyone has is that Andrew has indeed stepped back from public life. So, how much further does Charles want him to step back? Andrew literally has his daughters and a handful of friends and associates left. Most others dropped him like a hot potato. So Andrew rides his horse on the Windsor estate, watches television, reads, and spends an hour or two in his office. It is the opinion of my source and advisors to the king, as well as my own personal opinion, that if the king should stop his action against Andrew, there will be nothing to report on, and everybody will basically forget about Andrew. It is only because the king is working so hard to push Andrew into oblivion that we are still talking about him. So yes, I agree 100% with my source and the courtiers, but as we know, Charles has a propensity to fire people who do not agree with him. So there's only so much anyone can do. But that is not all. We are very much mistaken if we think the courtiers and the king do not know what we are saying here on social media. They very much are. They are on top of what is said in mainstream media and the fringe media and social media. Courtiers, MI5 and MI6, and a handful of other sources do keep track of the more controversial articles, the more controversial channels, or the more controversial videos, etc., etc. And if deemed damaging or potentially stirring up trouble, it is discussed, and the king, or for that matter the queen or William, is then advised. Now, if you have kept track of the royals like I and other YouTubers have, namely on a daily basis, you too may have picked up on a trend, namely that every now and then we would be talking about something, and days or a week or so later one of the senior royals may address that very same topic. Sometimes just in passing while talking about something else, but from time to time you can pick up that they are very much aware of certain things being said. So I can promise you that the king is very much aware that a large portion of the public would want King Charles to do something about his wayward son and his wife before he even bothers with his brother or anything concerning his brother any further. The courtiers are aware of it, and most agree with us, and the king is thus aware of it as well, and aware that some of the courtiers agree with the public. And you know what? The king does not give a rat's arse about it. Charles basically told a member of staff that his days on the throne are numbered, and he wants to solve the Andrew problem before it is too late. Now, I specifically asked whether the king consciously wants to leave the Harry and Meghan problem for William to solve. And my source said that from what he had seen and heard, he does not even think the king even sees or thinks about it in that way. He is virtually blind and deaf when it comes to Harry and Meghan. He does not even want to hear about it. His argument was that he's not allowing and will not allow Harry near monarchy business. So why is anyone else so worried about Harry? And even the counter-argument that Andrew is not coming anywhere near monarchy business either, so why is the king so concerned about him? Even that argument doesn't hold any water with the king. The truly surprising thing my source tells me is that William is 100% supporting his father when it comes to Andrew, despite the fact that he has a good relationship with at least Beatrice, and Andrew has not said or done anything about or to William and his family. It is accepted, however, that William has been sort of brainwashed or influenced with, Uncle Andrew bad kind of thing from a young age, and definitely not by his mother. You see, out of all Charles's siblings, Diana was indeed closest to Andrew. Diana and Andrew knew each other since childhood. There was only 1 year age difference, and they often played together. Diana liked Andrew's personality, and they got along well. Diana was the one who wrote Andrew letters when he was at war, and she kept him up to date on family news. Even when Diana had a falling out with Fergie, she still stayed in contact with Andrew, and her last Christmas card was a photograph of cousins William and Harry, Beatrice and Eugenie on vacation. One of the reasons why Andrew never took to Camilla is likely because of what happened to Diana. Diana told Tina Brown in 1997, talking about what happened with Fergie, the following, and I quote, "It's a shame for Andrew because he is really the best of the bunch. I mean, people don't know this, but he works really, really hard for the country. He does so much and no one pays any attention at all." Charles has openly commented on Andrew and the Queen's relationship and had referred to Andrew as Mommy's favourite. There's actually record of that. So I guess we can imagine that his jealousy increased seeing the good relationship between Diana and Andrew. It is also said that the Queen herself felt that Diana and Andrew were better suited and wanted Diana, or then at least someone like her in looks and background, to marry Andrew. I wonder whether that is why Charles actually married Diana, although he did not have anything in common with her or even really loved her at the time. For once, he could have something which was actually more meant for Andrew. Anyway, there's a lot of history there, something we can maybe delve into in the future, and most of it is generally not known to the public and was even cut from royal books at the insistence of either the Queen or courtiers to save Charles the embarrassment. I personally think it's a pity that the king's anger and hatred for his brother is distracting him to the point where he's not doing anything to safeguard the monarchy and protect his own reign from Harry and Meghan. Anyway, guys, it's time for me to go. I see very few of you actually listen to my December royal stories. It is actually such fun, and there are huge surprises coming. I just cannot tell you when. I just made a random list and I'm going down the list. You know, often getting to know a family's history, one learns why the current generation acts or reacts the way they do. Anyway, guys, thank you for spending time with me. Please take care of yourselves until we meet again on the next one. Bye.